We are live.
Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome from ATL Innovation Mission, ATL Tinkering Labs. Today, we are with a great panel again with our esteemed partners and our mission director, Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, with us today. A lot of you already know and are already engaged and participating in our flagship competition, the ATL Tinkering Marathon. And today's YouTube Live is an exciting one because we're going to reveal exciting news for all of you who are participating in the marathon or who are still contemplating. This is going to be an interesting announcement and something you'll look forward to, and will definitely encourage you into participating. Before I get started, let me first introduce everyone who's with us today. And even before that, let me reiterate and mention what ATL Tinkering Labs is and what the ATL Tinkering Marathon is all about. Um, ATL Tinkering Labs is, as you all know, the flagship initiative of NITI Aayog, ATL Innovation Mission, and our objective has always been in terms of fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, and creativity among students. With over 9,600 plus labs set up across the country and in over 35 states and union territories, we now embark on our flagship competition, which is a yearly initiative done by ATL Innovation Mission. It's a platform given to students to come up with innovative solutions to community problems around them. And for this, every year there's a theme given which aligns with global and national themes of importance. This year, as we also celebrate the 75 years of Indian independence, as we start that celebration, we are happy to announce that this year our marathon also commemorates that with its themes being linked to the NITI's vision for India at 75, and also in terms of the prizes and various other initiatives that you'll see, that we will commemorate 75 years of India's independence and celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav through our marathon this year. With that, let me quickly say what the ATL Tinkering Marathon is all about. Marathon was initiated and kickstarted earlier, couple of months back, but yes, it is ongoing right now. There are various phases to the marathon, and it starts with an ideation, research, ideation, prototyping, and finally submissions. So here's your opportunity. The marathon is open and will be open for a few weeks for you to innovate and come up with a solution to any of the problems that you see around your community or that you relate to. Innovate for those problems and solutions. One unique thing that we've done this year is that not just for the problem statements that have been defined under each of the 5 themes that we have this year, you could also think of your own theme, your own problem statement within each theme, which you think is very relevant for your community or for your local needs. Do come up with a statement, problem statement, and solution to such a problem also, as long as it is within the themes that have been defined for this year's marathon. There are many more new things this year in the marathon and new initiatives, and you'll hear about this soon. I don't want to spill the beans yet. I would like all our panel members who are here with us today from our esteemed partner organizations who are joining us for this YouTube live session today, for them to really reveal and share with you those exciting pieces of information and news about the ATL Marathon. Let me start with introducing who all we have with us today for this YouTube live session. We have with us Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, ATL Innovation Mission, NITI Aayog. We have Mr. Amit Nevetia, who's the Education to Workforce Lead, India and South Asia for Amazon Web Services. We have Mr. Anurag Pratap, who is the Vice President and Head CSR for Capgemini. We have Mr. Kalol Hazra, who's the Director Sales Strategy, Planning and Enablement from Dell. We have Mr. Hemant Gadgil, who's the Executive Director for La Foundation, the Salt Systems. And we have Mr. Nirbhay Lumre, who's the Director for CSR in CGI, Asia Pacific SBU. And last but not the least, we have Mr. Himanshu Sikka, who's the Chief Strategy and Diversification Officer and Lead for Health and Nutrition Vertical with IPE Global. Now, with those names and those people who we have with us, you can only imagine how exciting this discussion will be as we progress into it. And for that, let me invite our mission director, Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, to say his opening comments, and then we can get started. Over to you, Dr. Chintan.
Thank you, Dipali, and greetings, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Okay, perfect. Very good, very good. Well, it's great to be with you, children, and of course, the mentors, teachers. I want to say that I want to share a thought that something an insight that I had after many years of my own journey that maybe you can you may or may not agree, but at least you can hear it, and then maybe it'll come true for you. But you know, I started out as an engineer, and it took me a while, few years of work in pure engineering type of work, before I realized, oh, there are some engineering problems which just can't be solved without public policy or participation of other actors who are, who are doing work that's complementary beyond engineering, right? And then later on, I went and formally studied public policy. And there also I kind of realized that, oh, there are some policy problems that you can't really solve without understanding engineering. You can't consider technology a black box. You have to somehow understand it if you were to solve these problems at in a big way. And I think, the people you are meeting today on this panel have traveled this spectrum, if I may say so, for years together. So I think there's a wealth of wisdom on this panel that I am looking forward to learning from. But I also want to offer an observation for our panel. ATL Tinkering Marathon is getting harder and harder every year. So, we went to top 300 teams. This is top 300 teams out of 8,000. So this is pretty hard already. Then they go to this student innovator program, student internship program, and various other experiences that are available to them because of partners like you. In many cases, it of course changes their lives, right? I mean, imagine you are a 10th grader and you go into a corporation and you get to learn how corporations work and what is their setup and all that. This is really, I mean, you don't know what synapses it is making. So it is changing many people in their experiences. But now this time, there is, even from those top 300, there's the top 75, which are going to get prizes. They're going to get prizes because of course, your generous support of all the partners here who are here today. And over and above those exposures, they are going to get these prizes. So this gets even more a selective group. So this is the sort of impact you are having. That's the first part. But the second thing is, this is still tip of the iceberg, right? 10,000 ATLs. There are 260,000 secondary and higher secondary schools in India, right? And we're talking about 10,000 of them, of those 260,000. So imagine the innovation potential that's in front of us. We're still scratching the surface even after all this work, right? All wonderful work of the team, Dipali, Swati, Naba, many others who are on this call. But we have a long way to go, but we also have tremendous opportunity in terms of impact. Like if you are a CSR player, depending on your inclination, whether it is geographical inclination, whether it is a gender related cause you are into, whether it is, economic strata related cause you are into, whatever, if you are even at the top end, we have the entire spectrum, and we'll have much, much more coming in the years to come. So this is an exciting journey we're on. Once again, let me say, first, thank you to all the students and teachers without whom there would be no point in being here. And second, to all of the wonderful partners because of whom this is all. There's a cherry on the cake at the very end. So back to you, Dipali.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chintan. And what a nice way of saying it. This is really the cherry on the cake. And let me say that even the cake comes from all our partners. And thank you so much for all the support that's coming. I mean, why I say that is, there are so many opportunities that one gets out of the marathon, right from, the SIP program, the SEP program, which in itself are wonderful opportunities for students. And we've seen how students have benefited in a long journey towards their dreams of becoming entrepreneurs, how much role and importance these internship programs, innovator programs, and entrepreneurship programs have played, which has only been possible because of the partners and their support coming to us. So I want to say that again, and thank you all for your support. And yes, this year for the very first time, and that's why Dr. Chintan calls it the cherry on the cake, because for the very first time in the history of marathon, this is, for several years of running the marathon, we have prizes as, as an additional encouragement for student innovators, for young innovators, and we have special categories also this time. And we'll share more about it in a bit as we progress along in this session. But yeah, thank you so much once again to all the partners for all the initiatives you run to make marathon such a huge success that it is as of today. Every year we go by many, many folds of participation, and it gets more difficult because each year there are more people participating and trying to get into that top spot. So we look forward to many more numbers this year again, much more than previous years, with an added incentive this year of the cherry on the cake. So thank you so much. And with that, let me hand it over to Swati for our panel discussion, and we'll hear more from each of you.
Thank you, Dr. Chintan and Dipali. This is Swati. I, along with my team at AIM, have been leading the ATL Marathon since the last 4 years. It is truly a magnificent challenge that we strive to make better, more interesting, and a lot more exciting each year. Staying true to this ethos, I'm glad to welcome all our guests today for this very special interaction and announcement, which is happening for the first time ever. So, students, teachers, mentors, stay tuned and watch till the very end as our partners reveal the exciting prizes. So, without further ado, I'd like to begin the interaction with our guests who have very generously sponsored prizes for our top teams of ATL Marathon this year. Let's begin our conversation with Mr. Amit from Amazon Web Services. Mr. Amit, thank you so much for joining us today. AWS has been supporting AIM with various initiatives, and we know that entrepreneurs play such an important role in bringing up the society in terms of the financial and human resources. India, being a developing country, requires this strong ecosystem to hone and encourage young entrepreneurs to meet the growing needs of the country. So, according to you, why is it essential to develop this entrepreneurial thinking, the skills in students right when they're in school?
Right. Thanks and good afternoon, Dr. Chintan and the entire ATL team. Good afternoon to all my fellow panelists. And good afternoon to all the children and the mentors who are watching this ceremony. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you and to be a part of such a magnificent activity, which is the ATL Marathon. Um, to answer your question, Swati, see, if you look at in India, entrepreneurship has always been a critical part to India's growth and development, right? Given its increasing significance and the visible impact that it makes in wealth creation and employment generation. With India being one of the fastest growing economies in the world and the kind of demographic dividend we have in India, which is so often spoken about, you know, of the fact that 65% of our population is under 35 years of age. And we have over 150 million young students entering into the workplace, estimated in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, the question is that while we talk about all this demographic dividend, how do we actually harness this youthful energy and the dividend that we have? So the uniform development and access to technology And as Dr. Chintan said, that technology is not a black box. We need to have that access to technology and resources at an early age across the country. Even the new education policy, 2020 states that for students to become good, successful, innovative, adaptable, and productive human beings in today's, rapidly changing, uh, scenario, the pandemic has taught us a lot in terms of how we need to be prepared and adaptable. It requires skills like scientific temper, evidence-based thinking, creativity, innovativeness, problem solving. These are all skills which are required, going forward. And 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 there has to be some mechanism put to be catering to the students' need to acquire those skills, right? And when we speak about entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurial mindset is required to provide that confidence to identify the opportunities and not being afraid of to take risks. This is also to provide the ability to tackle difficult situations and develop leadership skills. So we should not look at entrepreneurship only from a perspective of being an entrepreneur, but the entrepreneurship skills are required even in the workplace today. The new generation is going to face an onslaught of technology innovation, right? And it is imperative that students need to develop this mind of innovation, which is a key ingredient to the entrepreneurial mindset. And ATL Innovation Mission, through its interventions like the ATL Tinkering Lab and the ATL Marathon, I think the charter that they have taken to cultivate 1 million children in India as neoteric innovators, it is our privilege as AWS to be associated, with this mission. And we're going to support AIM in this ATL Marathon to award the top 75 teams on the occasion of the 75th year of independence. And it's again a great thinking done by the ATL team to provide that cherry on top of this cake in this crucial 75th year of independence and take this mission forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amit. As you rightly mentioned, access to technology and teaching children to take risks with their ideas from a young age will really be the key for India's growth in the future. We've heard from you on the importance of entrepreneurship and innovation for the development of our country. And with that, let me take my next question to Mr. Anurag from Capgemini. Mr. Anurag, thank you so much for joining us today, given your busy schedule. We know and we're so grateful for all the support Capgemini has been giving AIM for all our initiatives. And your team has also extended full support for our marathon last year with such a successful SIP, as well as helping us as jury members for the evaluations. Can you shed some light on Capgemini's perspective towards this collaboration and what really, in your opinion, is the unique proposition of such a national level challenge like the marathon for students? And what should students leverage from this competition?
Thank you, Swati. And this is a privilege for us to join in and talk about some of the work that we are doing and also talk about some of the collaborative work that we have done with NITI Aayog. I was listening to Dr. Chintan. I was also listening to Amit. They leave after, it's very risky, it's very dangerous to talk after them because they hardly leave anything else for others to talk about in the spaces that they talk. So next time onwards, I'll be lobbying to speak before them so that at least I'll have something new to talk. I won't be repeating myself. What Amit said, and he spoke about things which are very relevant and very pertinent there. For us at Capgemini, what we strongly feel, and coming from, I'll say, industry which is primarily based on knowledge-based work, it becomes very pertinent for us to facilitate, encourage, promote learning which is experience-based, learning which builds on your scientific temper, learning which is collaborative, learning where you are very curious about newer things. And ATL Tinkering Lab provides all these things in totality. As part of our larger, say, CSR mandate, we have been working on STEM education for the, I'll say, last 8 years or so. Set up our InnoSteam labs, as we call them. And I always used to say that this is kind of antithesis on the ATLs, primarily because we created those InnoSteam labs for schools which are smaller in size, with groups which are smaller in size, and went into remote areas to what is called promote education. Then the ATL, in the sense, provided us with the right kind of platform to really take the whole movement to the next level, where you bring in a student in a big critical mass. They start what is called becoming curious, where they start challenging some of the things. They start looking at some of the solutions, and they start doing it in volume. So with Capgemini, InnoStream Lab were limited to, I'll say, 150 plus schools. And when you look at a partnership where you have 10,000 ATLs coming in there, just imagine the kind of impact that you will create when you bring in these students and bring in the thought process that Amit was talking about. So that's huge, I'll say, leap that India will be making. Imagine an India which is where you have 10,000 plus schools, uh, helping kids understand STEM in a more experiential manner, helping kids to move on to more experiential learning, helping kids to innovate at an early stage. Imagine the India that we all are building. Imagine the India where kids will be confident to prove people wrong. And I can't what is called stop myself from sharing one example. This is one of my favorite examples. I remember just before the lockdown, I took some of my leaders to one of the school at Bangalore. Uh, there was this particular kid who was, and the kid took these leaders to the lab that they were having, and they were showing their projects. One of the as the ninth standard kid was showing the robot that he has built, and one of the leaders asked him that how many times you failed. These are typical of those leaders' questions, no? So how many times you failed? And the kid, without I'll say even waiting for a second to respond, he said 10 times. The next question came was, why did you continue? And his response, which was, I'll say, very extempore, came out then and there. He said that I continued to prove people like you wrong. That's the kind of India that we all are trying to build. That's the India that we all should be trying to build. India which is full of confidence. India who can look into your eyes and respond and say that, hey, I'll prove you wrong. Hey, we can do something that you never thought that we all can do it. And that's what the the adult tinkering labs are doing at these schools. That's what the InnoStreams labs are doing at these schools. That's what I'll say AWS or what CGI is doing, or what other institutions are doing, or Dell is doing. That's what they are trying to do, to create a group of students or in a big volume to influence a change which was unheard of. And this 75th year is the right time to showcase it to the world that, hey, this is what the new India that we all are dreaming of. This is what the new India that we wish to create. And that's what at Capgemini we are trying to do. That's the reason why we were very, I'll say, bullish last year, where we said that, hey, we'll participate everywhere because that's the kind of India that we are bullish this year. And trust me, we'll be bullish next year also. Because I'm very clear that we need to collaborate together. It can't be ikla chaloge. It can't be I'll change the world. It needs to be a collaborative work that we should be doing, and it should be what Dr. Chintan was saying, that build that ecosystem, strengthen that ecosystem, nurture that ecosystem to create the change that we all wish to see, and that's what we are trying to do. So count us in, Swati. The will be one of your strongest supporter there this year, next year, and next to next year also. Uh, uh, Whether it's cherry or cake or ingredient related to cake, I don't care. If kids get what they are aiming and aspiring for, then we'll be there, and we'll be there with full gusto and full, I'll say, whatever it takes to create a better India, Capgemini will be there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anurag. And we are really looking forward to your support. And students, I think, can expect an entire bakery after your commitment to our cause and commitment to supporting students going forward.
Why restricting ourselves to bakery? Let's look for something bigger than that, huh?
Of course, always. Thank you so much for those very perceptive thoughts. And you've captured very succinctly that students have started challenging their problems that they see around themselves. They have started getting exposed to very large groups and groups of very smart students from across India and not just their regions. And that really is what will bring India to the forefront of innovation. You also touched upon a very important facet of innovation, which is failure. And this mindset shift that AIM, with its competitions and with the help of its partners, is trying to bring in students that failing is okay. In fact, it is a very important part of your journey as an innovator. Now that we see more and more students participating in marathon, it's going to be very critical to understand this aspect of failure as well. Let me now call upon Mr. Kalol from Dell for our next question. Mr. Kalol, thank you so much for joining us today. Dell has been a part of the AIM family for the longest time. It has supported ATL Marathons, winning students, especially girl students from the beginning. You yourself are a mentor of change with our program and have been volunteering your time to guide young students of ATL. According to you, how can a school student be more innovative in creating a solution that is sustainable and not already there in the market? And what is your token piece of advice for our young innovators?
Thank you. Thank you, Swati. I hope I'm audible. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chintan and my fellow panelists. And good afternoon, all students, teachers, my fellow mentors, and of course, everyone on the panel today. Anurag was complaining that it's difficult to go after Dr. Chintan and Amit. Anurag, you have made our job more difficult, actually. So a lot of stuff which I was supposed to cover, you have already covered. Nonetheless, I will speak about it. So as you all know that Dell Technologies has always been a pioneer in ushering what we call technological advancements for driving human progress. And we have partnered with ATL Innovation Lab and Niti Aayog since I would say 2017, if I'm not wrong. And this partnership is actually a dedicated effort in providing students a world-class experience with technological tools and a lot of things which they are not ordinarily exposed to, which is important from our point of view. And all these efforts actually dovetail very well with our 2030 goals. We call it moonshot goals towards sustainability, diversity and inclusion goals. And these are pretty stiff goals, I would say, from coming from Michael Dell and the leadership team, right up to the front-end person who's actually working for Dell Technologies. One of the critical examples, I would say, which we did in 2020, for example, is ocean plastics. And how do we reuse ocean plastics, clean up the ocean and use the ocean plastics for packaging our products and ensure that that recycling happens very, very effectively. And this is just one of the instances I'm talking about, but there's a good amount of innovation around that, a good amount of partnerships with different companies, and a lot of other companies have actually come forward and collaborating with us to make this a success all over the world. So basically, two things are happening. One is we are clearing the ocean of ocean plastics, which is actually a very, very big problem. And second is reutilizing those as part of our packaging and other efforts which we are doing. Similarly, we are doing with the metals and the gold platings within our PCBs and all the products which we build. And that's an ongoing effort which is going on. So there are a lot of innovation which students can actually work on and actually collaborate with us in those areas. So this type of collaboration has lent impetus and are actually propelling students to develop an active interest in technology. And that is, Swati, going back to your question, that is helping them to promote innovation. Our focus is to help the students transition into being problem solvers and to help them actually see many innovative solutions, what around them and how they can solve those problems. Students actually have to look around them, identify challenges, and leverage technology, which will help them to convert those challenges into opportunities. So let me give you a few examples. In fact, many of the solutions that the students have developed in the schools, which were supported by Dell Technologies, have reached commercial stage. And that is a very, very good news for us and for ATL and for the entire community, because if something is reaching commercial stage, that means we have walked the path and given that opportunity and taken them through that to the next stage. So Shreya Sinha from a government school in Gaya, which is in Bihar, all of you are familiar with, has developed a product that aims at providing clean drinking water at minimal cost and has gone on to get it patented as well. So this is a patent which I think has already been given or pending. I'm not very sure about the status of the patent, but it's there. Then we have a team led by Ayushi Kaushik from Delhi. They have prepared a low-cost, biodegradable, and highly effective sanitary napkin and has started manufacturing at a commercial scale. Now, why I'm giving these examples prove that we are looking at students not only to innovate and bring those, I would say, the minimum viable product or MVP as it's called, but also take it to the next stage and make it viable for commercial use, get patented, and help in the overall development process, right? So coming back to what students should look at and what they should be, I would say, look at very carefully. So being a mentor myself, I know that there are a lot of challenges associated with schoolwork, and especially when you're at home and you don't know whether the next class is happening or not in school, and how do you devote time to such challenges, ATL, tinkering, marathons and all. But having said that, the set time of 3 to 4 last year was very good. I think 4 to 5 or 3 to 4, I don't exactly remember. But that was a good way of starting, because you know that this time is blocked for these many weeks and doing something which is different. So I would like students to be curious and open to reading about what advances are happening around them, both in the field of technology as well as other areas which they're interested in. As we have all seen and experienced in the past few decades, the technology changes have made the world a better place for each one of us. And it would be right to say that fruits of this technology revolution is slowly percolating down equitably to all, including students who have started working. And this dovetails very well with what Anurag was saying and Amit was saying, that how do we take this to the schools and the school kids who have responded saying that, yeah, I have failed 10 times and I'm here to prove all of you wrong, is testimony to the fact that this is actually progressing. Uh, Talking about challenges, which you asked me, I think the most challenging aspect of this journey is, as per my experience, is the start. How do I start and where do I start and what will help me to start? I think that is very important, that parents and teachers have to push students to actually start tinkering, start the marathon process itself, and make sure they're doing small things at the beginning, learn about new things. And since it's most of it is virtual nowadays, it's very easy to do that. But make an honest effort to start. That is very important. I'm sure there'll be enough problems around you to work on. And that is the other thing, that don't talk about big global problems, but start with problems around you, work on it, and trust me, there will be also a good number of obstacles which will dissociate you from continuing. And this is where that Anurag's comment about failures come in. So I would say keep an open mind, be ready for failures, and if you don't succeed, be flexible enough to pivot to newer ideas. So if it's not working, even after 10 times or 20 times, be flexible enough to pivot to newer ideas. Because now is the time for the youth of tomorrow to come together to devise I would say, long-term solutions to attain the sustainable development through approach of, I would say, empathy and design thinking mindsets. These two are very, very critical and very important. And I would refer to the last couple of weeks when I was watching Shark Tank India. So looking at the way entrepreneurs have innovated in some of the pitches in Shark Tank India, solving real problems and at scale, which is important, right? You can't start with a small problem and keep it there. It has to be scalable. In India, everything has to be scalable. So I would like to see many of our budding student entrepreneurs in future editions of such programs, pitching their ideas to raise funds and take it commercial, which is very important. And as Dell, we are very happy to support this year's ATL Marathon and will continue to do so. So my best wishes to the students participating in the ATL Tinkering Marathon, and thanks to everyone. And it will be a collaborative exercise. I know we can't do it alone, and with the support of everyone, we can make a better India, and 75th year is the best place to begin that. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Swati.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kalol. Your experience and passion being a mentor and being a part of Dell really clearly shines through when you narrated your thoughts to us. Many students, I'm sure, who are watching this can take away important pointers from this. With mentors like you coming forward, I'm sure challenges of, how do I start can really be solved because mentors are working on the ground. Employees from partner organizations, such as all of you who have joined us today, who support us in various initiatives, are working on these problems for India and the world and can share those ideas with students. Also, a special mention, thank you so much for sharing the stories of Shreya Sinha and Ayushi Kaushik with us. It gives us the greatest joy in knowing that our students are not only innovating for themselves, but taking it to their community and to the rest of the country by taking it to market. Thank you so much. With that, I would now like to invite Mr. Hemant from Dassault Systems for our next question. Mr. Hemant, thank you very much for taking out the time to join us today. The Student Entrepreneurship Program is an important program for us in the journey of Marathon. The top students of SIP get an opportunity to undergo an entrepreneurship journey where Dassault has been supporting us over the last year. They take their innovations to the market and also to a patenting stage. How has your experience or your team's experience been while working with these budding entrepreneurs? What did you see were the major challenges with our student entrepreneurship program? And what do you think is the way ahead for these future leaders? So you're on mute. I just requested on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Dr. Chintan and all the panelists. It's a wonderful forum to interact together and work jointly for a common goal and the objective, which our country needs it to scale up. And in the 75th year of our independence, it's the right occasion to have such a mission taken forward in collaborative way. Now, when we talk about Atal Innovation Mission and Atal Tinkering Labs, I would say that Atal Innovation Mission through Atal Tinkering Labs and all your programs, you have transformed the education of our country. What it was few years back and now what it is today is dramatically changed. And I would really like to congratulate and thank entire Atal Innovation Mission team, Niti Aayog, to come forward with such a innovative program, such a powerful vision which you have given to the country, and involving all the students right from their student days right up to they becoming an entrepreneur is the vision which you have put forward. And certainly it's an inspirational vision where we all need to work together. Now, when we are looking at such a vision, certainly there is a huge talent available in our country, and tapping such talent right from the student days is very important. However, just tapping the talent or providing them a platform like Atal Tinkering Labs will create a start, and where we felt that taking this talent to the real outcome, what we have done is a year before we launched a program called as Seed the Future Entrepreneurs Program. And this program was not for engineering college students or not for the professionals, but we want this seeding to happen from the school level. And we selected the schools from India, and we created a startup in each of these schools, and the school students form a startup and they work like a startup. And with the success of our program a year before, that is where it opened the door for us to work together with Atal Innovation Mission. And I'm very happy with our collaboration because, as everybody has said, that it provides a scale for our country which is needed. And what we thought that setting such school student startups really will accelerate the entire process of innovation, accelerate the entire process of entrepreneurship development. And in this year, together with Atal Innovation Mission, we have selected 50 schools from India, from 29 states, and this represents mini India. So we have made sure that all these schools represent true India. We have schools from Northeast state, we have schools from Leh Ladakh, we have schools from Jammu Kashmir, we have schools from Andaman and Nicobar. So all the border states of India are integrated in this program, and of course we have schools from the major cities also. At the same time, we selected 10 schools from the aspirational districts. This is one of the important mission which Niti Aayog and Government of India is driving. And I am following the aspirational district program since its inception. I'm really amazed with the way these aspirational districts have started making a change. And all the young district managers whom government has selected to drive this program, they have amazing energy. So we thought that we should bring that energy also in the schools. And the 10 schools which we have selected from these aspirational district programs, amazing talent. Means we wouldn't have imagined that such a kind of a thing would happen in such small villages, in some small cities, and unknown schools. These are not very well known schools. And that is where the strength of India is there. What we are doing through our program is it's a startup. Each school has to create a dream product, identify a dream product, design this dream product, manufacturing it, and not stop there, but they have to also market their product. And the scope includes creating a marketing campaign for their products. And imagine all of this is being done by the school students who are in the 7th, 8th, 9th standards. And they have created amazing designs. They have identified amazing problems. We gave them the themes because we need to have certain objectives for them, and these themes are very well connected with what India is aspiring for. And these students have identified the problems around these themes, what is happening within their own environment, what are the challenges they are facing, and based on those challenges, they have come out with the solutions. They designed these products using the digital technologies, and unfortunately, the entire year was again were stuck in the pandemic. Schools were not operating, students were not able to go to their campuses. And we were really concerned that how this program will work. And however, with the collaborative design technology and the tools which we have provided them, we have enabled them to be internet ready. We have enabled them to be online ready. And they have done this work. They have created the products using 3D printing kind of a technologies. They have created very nice advertisement videos, anything very similar, very exciting, like the advertisements we see on the TVs, the product, how they will like to market. They have created the product brochures, they have created their pricing strategies, how they want to sell the product. And that's the kind of input we are giving to the students. Of course, it needs a lot of mentoring. For every 50 schools we have selected, we have assigned one dedicated mentor from our organization. So he or she works very closely with each of these schools, and the students who are part of this program, each school has 6 students. They see these mentors as their big or elder brother or elder sister, and together they have been working. So this is a kind of a transformation which we thought we should bring or add value to what Atal Innovation Mission is doing. And this kind of a collaborative, integrated approach, we believe will help in a bigger way for our country to go forward. Now, Dr. Chintan talked about having 260,000 schools in our country, and then today probably we have just 10,000 adult tinkering labs. I feel yes, number is big, but the innovation, the mission, and the entrepreneurship culture which we want to bring, even if we start small, it will bring a big result, and that is what we strongly believe. Create a focus program, create a well-defined program. And our program is not just for 1 month, 2 months, it's a year-long program. We are engaged with each of these schools for 8 to 9 months. And that is where the true transformation will start happening. We are going to take these students to the next level where we want them to optimize whatever products they have designed just now. And then, of course, we will encourage them to have a patent, encourage them to have their startup even they are in the school. So that is the vision, that is the aim we have. And the kind of products these students have developed, just to, if I have to quote few, there's a school from Northeast, school from Aspirational District. They have developed a mosquito drone, and when the first time I heard about this during our review with the school, I said, how come drone can be so small? And the question, as Anurag rightly mentioned, why not? That was the question by the student. And they have designed such a drone. For us, for the grown-up people, for the engineering mind, probably we'll go into some engineering aspect. But they have designed such kind of a tiny micro drone for the medical or medicine transportation, which is a challenge in the villages. So many innumerable products they have designed. I feel way forward, each of these adult tinkering labs or the adult tinkering labs which are really working very well. We need to identify those labs, and each of these labs should really become the incubation centers for our country, for our country to realize the mission which Government of India has put forward, Atmanirbhar Bharat, being vocal for local, and Startup India, Stand Up India. All of these, if we start right at the school level with a joint collaborative efforts of all of us together, I'm sure it will create a miracle in the country. And next 2 to 3 years, it will start showing a very big result for us. So I really congratulate once again Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, and the entire team here. And we are committed to be part of this mission. We are definitely keen to help the ATL labs which are in the aspirational districts, the labs which are in the villages, in the remote areas, the labs which are the girls' students, and with that we will progress together. I'm very happy to announce on this occasion the real cherry on the cake announcement which Dipali ji mentioned is that together with all other partners, we are contributing into giving a very exciting recognition to the students who are part of this program. The top 75 teams will receive these gadgets which will help them to move forward. We are going to support the aspirational districts schools of the 75 and all girls schools. So with that, we look forward to a very great vision for our country, and together we will achieve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hemant, for your insightful thoughts and for sharing Dassault's experience with the students. As you rightly mentioned, Marathon is just a start, and our SIP and SEP programs, such as Seed the Future Entrepreneurs program that you spoke about, is really what handholds them to take the solution to the next stage. These programs not only support students in technology skills, but also in very important soft skills, such as teaching them how to be confident, teaching them how to confidently present their ideas, how to make effective presentations, market their solutions, learn financials, things like that, which are also very critical in an innovator's journey. Thank you so much for your thoughts on this topic. Now let me call upon Mr. Nirbhay from CGI. Mr. Nirbhay, thank you so much for taking out the time to join us here today and for pledging your support for the top teams of Marathon. As we look ahead beyond the current pandemic, how do you envisage the education changing? The events of the past 2 years have really accelerated our increasing familiarity with virtual modes, with technology and online learning. It makes us wonder whether our education systems are really keeping pace with this change. What new possibilities do you think this presents to us, and what do you think education will really look like in the future?
Thank you, Swati. Very pertinent question. Given that we are coming back to the normal, or maybe new normal, or maybe a better normal. Good afternoon to all of you. It's very nice to see students, teachers, and mentors joining on the other side. Very, very important that more than the students, I think I'm more excited to go back to schools and see children and students again back in the school and working with them. I think it's about certainly a new energy that is there. For sure, I'm seeing it more and more the interaction that I do with schools and teachers, and especially in students as well. I think the virtual world did teach us the lessons that were pertinent purely from the impediment that we had or the challenge that we had from a learning point of view. However, it also has its own advantages. Uh, while prior to addressing the query, I thought I'll just quickly talk about the CGI CSR goal. As we look at it, we look at remain invested in responsible corporate citizen within the communities where we live and work. The idea is that to empower our own professionals to actively engage in the communities. We also prioritize partnership with not just our clients, but with the like-minded institutions. We do run three kind of priorities we call people, communities, and climate. Within people, we work areas around digital inclusion, access to technology, business education, and also help everyone successful with in the digital society. And given that within this segment, we also pay attention to how do we commit and also pledge towards work with pro bono projects so that our members or the employees can contribute meaningfully. While this is very, very close to our heart, and as much as we are committed, our members also committed about the CSR initiatives. Now, coming to the looking at the current pandemic, how where we are headed towards. For sure, I see it's a boon in disguise for sure. We are all have opportunities and have seen opportunities so far engaged people and students more physical, and we have tried, tested. In some cases it worked and some cases it did not work, the virtual world. But certainly going forward, I would see the classrooms are going to get much more enriched than what we had. I think the opportunity to bring as many resources in the classroom, people that can interact with the students, as well as the new technology that can be brought into classroom are much more than what we had in the previous. So therefore, I see much more enriched classroom for students as well as for the schools. And of course, teachers learned their way. Yes, some of the schools had technology and some didn't have. But I certainly see a huge ocean of opportunities to enrich classrooms. But are we really at the cusp of picking that opportunity? I think yes. I'm an optimist here, and I see that we have the opportunity to make use of such an avenue, and we are going to make such avenues count for us for sure. I'll give a couple of examples the way I would look at it, more purely from the way we have engaged in the schools, there we had our own employees engaging. Till about a year back or 2 years back, we had excuses saying that there's a traffic, I cannot reach to school and teach students. We had an excuse saying that I'm late to school. We also had excuses saying that the children have their own priorities to attend to schools. Now, given in this scenario where we already had interaction with the students, we have a physical setup already established in schools. I see a sea of opportunities purely connecting and staying in touch with the schools for sure. Now coming to the, do we keep the pace with where are we headed towards? I think I'm very confident. I'm sure Swati and Dr. Chandran would agree with me that irrespective of the pandemic, we have never stopped taking the program, the kind of program that we had with Adult Tinkering or the Adult Innovation Mission. In fact, we have done much more than what otherwise we would have done. So that's where I see that I think if I look at empirically, we really have done much more otherwise we would have done. And I'm sure, I'm confident we will do much more than where are we going headed towards. Now, the other point, while we also have avenues to connect with the students locally, I also see opportunity connecting with global audience, something that was very limited in a world of where we are in physical classrooms. I'm really proud to say that we will be bringing such opportunities to interact with global audience and global students in the vernacular, the school that we are working. So therefore, it's no more local schools. I think they're going to be more global schools. While we retain the cultural aspects of it, we can have global cultural exchange and also learning opportunities for sure. This is something that I look forward to, and I'm sure given the kind of opportunities are there, we are there. Now, talking about the corporates or corporations that like-minded here we have, I think all of us are here collectively to together work towards the bigger milestones. I'm sure we are not the only ones. Today we are about 5-6 of us here. I think it's only we are going to see the size of the people of the institutions or the corporates are going to grow much more. Maybe today we'll see 2x, 10x, maybe it's going to be 100x going forward. So therefore, it's more of a collective strength that I see it. The second, from a purely education point of view, there's technology in place and technology has made sense. It did make an impact. Therefore, the future of the classrooms are going to be a good blend of physical, virtual classrooms with plenty of resources that are ready made available for the students, teachers, and schools to access. And of course, we are there. And of course, looking at the ATL Marathon here, we are proud to be part of this engagement. And we'll be more than happy to be part of not just about sponsoring the prizes. I'm sure it does help children to do more than what they do. Certainly, we are here for a long-term association with a long-term commitment to make this dent happen, and we are all together in this. Over to you, Swati. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nirbhay, for your thoughts on this. The pandemic, I'm sure, has affected the education sector quite badly. However, we do see a few opportunities, like you correctly mentioned, enhancing our classrooms. It has also helped us remove a lot of obstacles of logistics that that students generally face in many areas of India where they're unable to reach their schools. Now, all that we need to provide is adequate connectivity and learning devices for them, which I'm sure with all your support this year in Marathon, we will be able to provide for some of the top teams. More on that will be revealed very shortly. So students, please stay tuned. And thank you so much once again, Mr. Nirbhay. With that, I would like to call upon our final speaker, Mr. Himanshu from IPE Global. Thank you so much, Mr. Himanshu, for joining us today and for your passion towards helping the young innovators. Really key to ensuring the next generation success. This means equipping them with the skills and competencies to actively and responsibly engage in communities both online and offline. How can we balance these digital opportunities with the risks that come with it? And more importantly, how can we really empower children to be resilient in the face when they face such risks?
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Swati. First of all, thanks, Dr. Chintan and other colleagues at ATL Innovation Mission, fellow panelists, and of course, the students and mentors that are on the other side of this call. It's great pleasure for IP Global to be associating with the ATL Marathon this year. This is the first opportunity that we are taking to contribute to this great mission. And we hope that we will be able to do justice like many of the other panelists have been doing for a number of years. So the very pertinent question in terms of the ethical aspect of digital connectivity, and in today's time when you have digital penetration across the board, how one can kind of ensure that the risks and opportunities are equally balanced. But before I come to that, I would say that this particular platform itself, it kind of nurtures the very, very basic concept that we look at, and that basic concept being that children are natural innovators. You don't require much to ensure that they are innovating. They innovate starting from their very kindergarten days when they're playing with their small toys and all. They will build different kinds of buildings with Legos and all, and you don't need much to start them to start innovating from their end. They are natural thinkers. They think on their own. They have a lot of curiosity to learn about new things and all. But however, sometimes we feel that our education system historically, or in some ways the way the education system works, kind of has not been nurturing those aspects very well. And that's where I would say I would like to congratulate ATL Innovation Mission that the tinkering labs play a very, very important role and bring that kind of nurturing of those curiosity and thinking within within the children. Uh, the things that it further does is that it provides them the platform for identifying the right inspiration, and with that, develop positive thinking. And as my fellow panelists mentioned earlier, develop a appetite for risk taking, and that's I think so is very, very important, which the ATL Marathon kind of gives them that opportunity. And I would say that the entire 10,000 odd teams that participate or enter into the competition are all winners, are all taking big risks. Not We have been emphasizing the top 300 or the top 75, which will get the prize at the end. But I would like to say that each one of those 10,000 are big innovators and a big future for the country as we move forward. Now, coming to your question specifically in terms of the risks that or the opportunities that come with this kind of a platform, as well as the digital connectivity overall. I would say there we are in a situation where we are kind of facing dual kind of risk. One is the risk where children have access to technology, and we have to see how best they use it and how best they use it for the wider community. And that's one level. And the second level is where children don't have access to technology. And that's where I think so when we say that only 5 to 6% of the schools in the country have the tinkering labs right now, that digital divide does exist, and one has to kind of see that how programs like this can be expanded further to kind of ensure that that digital divide is also addressed. Not going to that aspect too much, what I feel is that on the side of when you're talking about children having access to technology and how best they can use it for the betterment of the communities, whether they are online, offline, whether the solution that they are bringing to the board uses technology or not. It's important that the focus is there on their overall kind of nurturing and telling them about or informing them about the wider problems that they face globally, as well as making them able to identify those problems locally. Uh, as Dr. Chintan and some of the panelists also earlier mentioned, that it's not about having this kind of a platform and enabling them to look at global problems, but giving them that confidence that the problems at the local level also have the potential to kind of later on lead to solving bigger problems and all. So that's where I think so. If that nurturing happens, and that can effectively, very, very effectively happen through the uh, internship program that follows the ATL Marathon, and that's where the corporates like those on the panel today, as well as others, can play a big role, giving them that venue to learn from their local surroundings and finding out solutions which fit their local surroundings, and then taking it widely. We are really excited to be part of this platform and to contribute to this pledge to kind of facilitate the top 75 students, as well as students coming from aspirational districts, girl teams, as well as from economically weaker sections, and providing them the prizes in form of digital tablets, etc. But I would like to again emphasize that it's not just those 75 or the 100 which will get the prizes. in our eyes, I think it's everybody who participates in this kind of a platform and brings forward their innovation is a winner. And with that, Swati, I will pass it on back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Himanshu, for your thoughts. You rightly mentioned that nurturing children towards the right path is what will really help them navigate the risks in this digital world that they are a part of now. And giving them those opportunities through competitions like marathon, through our partners, through the SIP and SEP programs, is what will guide them towards the right direction in identifying the right problems and taking them to the market. Uh, Another important fact that you highlighted is that these are when we are announcing our prizes and the top teams, everybody who participates in this competition is a winner. Just being a part of this journey is giving you so much of quality experience that will stay with you throughout the competition. And next year, you'll be better prepared and better equipped to come back and really be one of the top teams. So, with that, I think this is the moment that all our viewers have been waiting for, the unveiling of prizes. I would request my colleague Naba to share her screen to just unveil the prizes. Naba, can you please share the screen?
This is to increase the suspense.
Naba, we're not able to see it if you're sharing it already.
Okay, meanwhile, let me add that, like I said, this year, for the first time, we have prizes apart from what we usually have in terms of the opportunities that students get, the Student Innovator Program and the Student Entrepreneurship Program. And really, those are really the true prizes that you get out of this, which will continue this year as well. For the top 300 teams, you will be a part of the SIP program, and eventually the top teams from that are part of the SEP program. And personally, I feel that that's really the most rewarding part of the marathon journey, where you learn with mentors over a longer period of time. Having said that, there are some other incentives also in store, which this year, thank you to all our partners who are with us here on this panel today. We're able to have there some prizes for the top 75 teams, which is in celebration of our 75 years of independence and Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the top 75 teams, thanks to our partners, AWS, Capgemini, Dassault Systems, La Foundation Dassault Systems, IBE Global, CGI, and Dell Technologies have jointly sponsored these prizes for the top students. And because of this support that we got this year, we're also able to add new award categories to the marathon to encourage students from different walks of life, from different backgrounds. And apart from the top 75 teams, we have new initiatives, which is the top 10 all-girls teams, prizes for the all-girls teams. While this does not remove you from the top 75, you can still be in the top 75, but there are also some special prizes. I want to call that out, that on the basis of merit, there would be a lot of teams which come from different categories. So you will still be in the top 75, but in addition, we want to also recognize top 10 all-girls teams, top 10 teams from rural areas, top 10 teams from government schools, from aspirational districts, again, top 10 teams, and top 10 teams, including children with special needs. This is a very important category, and we want to encourage. We've already seen some entries that have come in for the marathon this year from students with special needs. We want to encourage and call out to all teachers and mentors to encourage students with special needs to also participate in this marathon. This is a great equalizer. It's a great opportunity for you to showcase your talent and innovation. Does not need any prior background experience, and you can start now your journey. So with that, we hope all the students, teachers, mentors, schools, and principals will be encouraged to participate in the marathon. And like all other years, we still have our existing opportunities, which are the student internship program for the top 300 teams. And for students, all students who participate get a certificate of participation. Top 10 teams per state get a certificate of excellence that continues as earlier years. And the top 30 to 50 teams nationally get the student entrepreneurship program. This is after the SIP, the top teams from the SIP then get an entrepreneurship program. What's in it for teachers and schools? You also have exciting recognition. So there's a certificate of participation for all teachers whose students participate in the marathon. We have the most innovative school award. This is for schools that submit more than 30 entries. Last year we had exceptional number of schools submitting multiple entries, and it obviously increases the movement within the school itself, because we want to not limit it to a few students within each school. An ATL lab is for the entire school. So we want to encourage more and more students who get engaged and make the most of these tinkering labs in your schools. And then the most inclusive school award, which is going to be a special award. Like I said, if you involve students with special needs, children with special needs as part of your teams in the marathon, then there's a special recognition for you as well. And last but not the least, ATL Marathon is for all students. So even if you do not have an ATL in your school, you can team up with an ATL school team and partner with them to be a part of this marathon and to be a part of this journey along with us. So with that, let me thank all our partners once again. Let me thank Dr. Chintan Vaishnav for his leadership, the entire ATL team that has been working tirelessly for many weeks and will continue to do so to support this innovation journey and this flagship competition. Every week, twice a week, we have capacity building sessions for students to learn new skills, to understand better how to participate in the marathon. We have expert sessions. Continue to log into those and join us for those sessions as we go on for the marathon, last date. But let me also make one more special announcement. On popular demand and on request from schools, students, and teachers, we have extended the last date for ATL Marathon. This is due to the examination schedule and also with the requests that have come in. We are cognizant of the fact that this could be clashing with certain examination schedules in certain states. Hence, we are happy to announce that the marathon is extended till 10th of April. So you have plenty of more time to start now if you haven't. And until then, stay tuned with us for our sessions every week to learn new skills and to participate in it. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us, all of you. This was a great session. And it is indeed a great support to the student innovators. It will go a long way in encouraging them towards their journey, towards their tinkering journey and innovation journey with us.
Thank you.
With that, we close the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.